Strange New Worlds can answer one of William Shatner's biggest Star Trek movie mysteries. Star Trek Strange New Worlds is primed to answer one of the biggest mysteries from William Shatner's Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. Although Sibok, Lawrence Luckenbill, the older Vulcan half-brother of Spock, Leonard Nimoy, was ostensibly Star Trek V's villain, Shatner's movie unveiled the film's true antagonist, a malevolent alien posing as God, George Murdoch. Surprisingly, Strange New Worlds reintroduced Sibok to its pre-Star Trek, the original series era. Maybe Strange New Worlds can do the same for God. Sibok's quest in Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, led him to hijack the USS Enterprise A commanded by Captain James T. Kirk, William Shatner. Sibok needed Kirk's starship to transport him and his followers to Sha-Ka-Ri, a fabled planet at the center of the galaxy protected by the Great Barrier. Sibok believes Sha-Ka-Ri was the source of all creation, the equivalent of what humans call Eden, and that God himself resides there. But it was folly, and Sibok sacrificed himself to save Spock, Kirk, and Dr. Leonard McCoy, DeForest Kelley, from the vengeful God. Star Trek Strange New Worlds has the opportunity to explain details that Star Trek V, The Final Frontier's rushed final act left hanging. In the 35 years since William Shatner's Star Trek movie was released in the summer of 1989, it has never been revealed what, exactly, God was and why he was imprisoned on Sha-Ka-Ri. It's also unclear how long God has been imprisoned on the barren world encircled by the Great Barrier. Was it centuries? Eons? How old is this false God entity? God's powers evidently include changing his form, becoming and dispersing energy, and controlling the environment of Sha-Ka-Ri. Yet God needed a starship to escape the planet. The pseudo-divine entity told Sibok he needed to merge with the Enterprise, so perhaps he can also control machines, and this is why he urged Sibok to bring the ship closer. Many questions, including God's true name and alien species, have been lingering since Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, but Strange New Worlds can answer them. Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 1 reintroducing Sibok was a shocker, and Spock's emotional sibling could be part of Strange New Worlds Season 3 or 4. Strange New Worlds bringing in Sibok tacitly implies that his backstory will be explored in greater depth, just as the prequel established Sibok operates under the pseudonym Zavirius and married the space pirate Captain Angel, Jesse James Keitel. Exploring Sibok's past should mean setting up Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, giving more context and details to what was only hinted at in William Shatner's movie. God told Sibok that the Vulcan was the first to find Sha-Ka-Ri, which was a myth Sibok himself apparently created. This implies God reached out to others to rescue him, but Sibok was the true believer who breached the Great Barrier. Dialogue between Spock and Sibok in Star Trek V also indicates Spock knew about his brother's mad quest to find Sha-Ka-Ri, either before or during the events of Strange New Worlds. Star Trek Strange New Worlds could reveal when Sibok told Sibok of his desire to find God, and flashbacks or other means could shed light on what, exactly, God was all along, and how Sha-Ka-Ri became the Pretender's prison. Star Trek Strange New Worlds presents a unique opportunity to resolve one of the most enduring mysteries from the Star Trek film era, the uncertain fate of Captain Kirk's son, David Marcus. William Shatner's portrayal of Captain James T. Kirk remains one of the most iconic roles in science fiction, but Kirk's relationship with his son has long been a point of emotional depth that was left unresolved after the events of Star Trek III, The Search for Spock. With Strange New Worlds exploring previously uncharted territories of Star Trek canon, it can tackle this lingering mystery in a way that pays homage to the franchise's history, while opening new storytelling possibilities. The tragic fate of David Marcus, introduced in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, was revealed to be the son of Kirk and Dr. Carol Marcus. Played by Merritt Buttrick, David was a brilliant scientist involved in the development of the Genesis device, a technology capable of creating life on a planetary scale. His introduction added emotional complexity to Kirk's character, forcing the usually confident and brash captain to confront the responsibilities he had previously avoided as a father. However, David's story was tragically cut short in Star Trek III, The Search for Spock. While attempting to protect Lieutenant Saavik and a young Spock on the unstable Genesis planet, David was killed by a Klingon warrior. His death devastated Kirk, leading to one of Shatner's most memorable and heartbreaking moments in the franchise, as he collapsed in despair, muttering, "You Klingon bastards, you killed my son." Despite the emotional weight of David's death, the films that followed did little to address Kirk's lingering grief or delve into the broader implications of his loss. By the time Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, rolled around, the narrative seemed to have moved on without giving Kirk's relationship with his son the closure it deserved. Revisiting the past through Strange New Worlds, with its retro setting in the earlier days of the Star Trek timeline, is perfectly positioned to revisit this unresolved storyline. Set before the events of the original series, the show has already demonstrated its willingness to explore deeper character dynamics, as seen with its handling of Christopher Pike's impending fate and Spock's internal struggles. Although Strange New Worlds takes place decades before David Marcus's death, the series could explore Kirk's relationship with Carol Marcus, the mother of his son, laying the groundwork for their future connection. The show could reveal new layers to Kirk's emotional arc, providing insight into the decisions that led him to distance himself from fatherhood. Moreover, Strange New Worlds can also delve into the ramifications of the Genesis device project. The Genesis device was one of the most controversial and ambitious technologies ever introduced in the Star Trek universe, with the potential for both creation and destruction. Revisiting the ethical questions surrounding the device and David's role in its development could add complexity to the show's ongoing exploration of scientific morality. A different kind of closure, one of the most interesting aspects of Strange New Worlds, is its ability to connect to the broader Star Trek universe while maintaining a focus on episodic storytelling. This format would allow the series to address Kirk's relationship with David without becoming bogged down in the long-term arc of the character's fate. Rather than a drawn-out storyline, Strange New Worlds could explore Kirk's personal conflicts regarding fatherhood and responsibility over the course of a single episode or multi-episode arc. An episode that focuses on the younger James T. Kirk, perhaps even in his early Starfleet days, could provide a fresh perspective on his relationship with Carol Marcus. By showcasing a more introspective, vulnerable side of Kirk, the show could explore how his feelings of duty, adventure, and personal sacrifice influenced his decisions about family. In doing so, Strange New Worlds could offer fans a chance to see a version of Kirk who grapples with the idea of fatherhood long before David's birth, shedding light on why he chose to keep his distance later in life. Additionally, by introducing Carol Marcus as a recurring character, the series could highlight her scientific contributions and her own ethical dilemmas regarding the Genesis project. Strange New Worlds could explore the Genesis device from a more personal angle, examining how both Kirk and Carol approach their responsibilities as parents and scientists, ultimately leading to the creation of a technology that would define their son's legacy. Our redemption of Kirk's past, resolving the mystery of David Marcus's fate, isn't just about tying up loose ends for continuity's sake. It's about deepening the emotional resonance of Kirk's character. For decades, fans have speculated about how Kirk dealt with the loss of his son and the unspoken grief that lingered after the search for Spock. By revisiting these themes, Strange New Worlds has the chance to honor William Shatner's original portrayal of Kirk while enriching the broader Star Trek narrative. Moreover, this exploration could offer something cathartic for Kirk's character. In